I love that puppet.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a gift from a fan of the Thrilling Adventure Hour. Made puppets for all the cast members.
Oh my God,
wow.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait till someone makes puppets for us, for web crawlers.
Oh, you don't think that's happened already? Come on.
No.
Don't be naive,
it's next
Melissa.
I don't want to
Get
know.
on puppets.
Oh, no. Well, thanks for doing the show.
No, thanks for having me. You know I'm a fan of web crawlers.
Maria,
Oh,
what
are you?
What are those shows?
Yes, I am.
These are from my mom's garden.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Wow.
I just thought I'd add a little
Nice.
something.
That's nice.
Can't all have puppets.
It's very true. Everyone's got a little pop of something. This is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Although Maria's, yours are overtaking the frame.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Craig.
What did he say?
He said, "You guys doing urban legends?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Make sure you look into Resurrection Mary." And then he walked away.
What's
That's
a
ominous.
resurrection? Like
They don't
Bloody
know what
Mary?
it is.
Like Bloody Mary?
They've
Never
never
heard of it.
Also, Craig has a story about when he saw a ghost house. There was a house that disappeared in front of his eyes.
That sounds like a glitch in the Matrix.
That's
Yeah.
a glitch in the Matrix.
That sounds like a glitch in the Matrix.
Can I say this right now?
Well, we're not recording yet.
Resurrection Mary is the famous story.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Sort of.
You've probably heard it told a million different ways. It originated in Chicago in the late 1800s. Resurrection Cemetery in Chicago, people reported seeing a woman walking around the cemetery at night.
Oh.
The whole thing. And then about a mile away, there were multiple reports of men being flagged down to give a girl a ride home. Yeah, you've heard this.
Well, I've heard it's the hitchhiker. It's the
The hitchhiker.
The hitchhiker.
It's in
The hitchhiker.
yeah.
Says the address, go to the address.
It's a Domino's.
Dumb.
Goes to the address. The mother
Papa
mentions,
John's.
says, "That's my daughter. She was killed 5 years ago."
Okay. Yeah.
No, okay.
That's a famous story.
Okay. Well,
Chicago is very haunted. The Iroquois Theater fire.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
about this?
We all know about the Iroquois. We all took
Yeah.
the yes, I do. I went on the ghost tour in Chicago. We got to get to this. Paul F. Tompkins is on the show. He's the most needed guest in podcasting. He's got like other things to do. Listen about Resurrection Mary.
Most needed.
most needed guest.
The most needed guest.
All right.
Yes.
So if you guys have a minute, you can talk about how Resurrection Mary went to her mom's house and she said she died 12 years ago at the Iroquois Theater or whatever. All right. Are we ready?
We'll bring it up. Okay, let's just record.
Okay.
And go.
And Maria's boyfriend told us some story. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I be recording my end?
Sure, if you'd like to.
I'd love to.
Sure, if you'd like to. Okay, let's go.
So I'll just do a quick intro and then Melissa.
Wait, we're recording now.
We can bring in Craig. We can bring in Craig if he wants to tell the story. We can bring in Craig later. I'd love to hear his urban legends.
I do. Okay, we good?
Yes.
Craig, ready to go?
Craig, we're recording now, okay?
Okay. Hello and welcome to Web Crawlers. This is one of our mini episodes. This is a shorter episode than our main episode where we talk about all things weird, unusual news stories, read listener emails, and play our voicemails today. Sorry guys, my speech impediment came out. I had actually speech therapy growing up because I said
Really?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I had to go.
Oh, I said no R's, so I'd say caw.
Really?
Oh, let's go
Yeah,
into
I was like
caw,
Whittle
but I never.
West.
You guys from Boston?
My parents actually are.
That explains it.
Anyways, as I was saying, we have a very special guest today. Melissa, who do we have?
We have the most needed guest, according to Maria, in podcast history, Mr. Paul F.
Oh,
Tompkins.
podcast history now.
Yes.
Well,
He's not wanted, he's needed.
needed. You're
Web
not wanted,
News,
you're needed.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm a big fan of the show. I listen every day now.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
You serious, Paul?
Yeah, Maria, I'm serious.
Okay.
All right, I choose to believe you, but I don't listen to this every day.
Well, you have chosen wisely.
Interesting. I listen to the big ones every day.
I listen to the
what
big
do you
ones
guys
every day too.
do? How do you guys have this?
In the morning, I wake up, I make my tea, I listen to my podcasts, and then I get on with my
Wow.
day. That's what I do.
Get on with my day.
It's like soap operas.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, get
Go
out
through
of the
the
way.
drudgery of listening to my podcasts, and then I can live my life.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Well,
Maria's
we've got
actually
Mr.
never listened to this podcast.
Allie.
I've listened.
Well, we've got Mr. Paul F. Tompkins here. He's on every podcast. You have Freedom is your own podcast. You're
That's right,
part of
Freedom.
Super Ego.
Super Ego, The Neighborhood Listen. I have a
You're Mr.
podcast-
Peanut Butter on
Mr. Peanut
BoJack
Butter,
Horseman.
Not a podcast project, but a voice-related
No.
thing nonetheless. I have a podcast with my wife now during quarantine called Stay
Yes,
F.
you do.
Homekins.
I listen
Oh
to
my
Stay F.
God.
Homekins. It's very
Thank
funny.
you. Thank
It's
you very
Janie
much.
saying crazy things, and Paul's going, Jeannie. It's the podcast.
No,
It's
that's
great.
not what I do. Don't make it sound like that.
That's my dream relationship.
My stupid wife.
Anyways, so today we're talking about urban legends.
Anyways.
Anyway, so we're talking about urban legends. You know, like the Hook, the Hitchhiker, the
There's someone in
Mikey
the
dying
backseat.
from Pop Rocks.
What did Craig just famously told us?
Resurrection Mary.
Resurrection Mary.
The scariest tale of them all.
Bloody Mary.
Oh, Bloody Mary.
Oh, there's also I'm gonna pronounce this so wrong.
Uh-oh.
There was just a movie about it, starring Linda Cardellini.
Scooby-Doo.
Llorona.
Huh?
What?
the weeping.
La Llorona.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes.
Yes. So urban legends of all types, and like for example, internet urban legends like Slender Man.
Oh, I love
There's also
Slender
my
Man.
favorite urban legend.
The snake.
My
The
Whoa.
snake.
favorite. No, not the snake. That actually happened to Amanda's cousin.
No,
What's
it
the
didn't.
But what?
No, the measuring thing.
That's that actually happened to Amanda.
No, it
did
didn't.
not.
Yes,
No,
it
it
did.
didn't.
No, it
Yes,
did
it did.
not.
Have you heard that one, Allie?
No, but
what
I actually-
happened?
Have you heard the one about there's
no.
a spiders grow a
Spider eggs in your face?
that actually did happen to someone I know.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so did the snake. Amanda's cousin had a
Snake did
pet
not happen.
boa constrictor, and he would let it sleep in the bed with him.
Oh no,
And
did it
then,
eat the baby.
well,
No.
no. So what happened was it was getting larger and larger every night, and her cousin was like, "What's going on here? This is really weird."
It's getting larger every. I've never heard
Yes.
this aspect before.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
this like the
getting
snake is
larger and
stretching?
larger. Yes, the snake was stretching. And so then he called the snake
No.
vet. Yes, in Long Beach. He called the snake
Stop.
vet. Yes, he
Can't.
did. And then the snake vet said, "Get out of the house immediately. Get out of the house immediately." And then her cousin said, "Why?" And he said, "He's measuring you."
Oh, no.
No.
That's on Snopes as proven false.
Yeah. Here's
That
a
happened
big,
to Amanda's cousin.
It did not. It did not. Here's a big issue with that story is like, how does the snake know that it's measuring the person? So is the snake like laying down next to the person and then
Yeah.
like raising the snake head and saying, "Well, I'm almost there." Also, I
Yeah.
never heard the detail that the snake could magically grow its own body.
That's a weird detail.
Well, I'm gonna have to
That-
ask him.
that's
I'm gonna have
not-
to ask Amanda then.
You should ask Amanda.
Yeah, we should get Amanda on the horn.
Because
also-
snakes, they eat their prey by squeezing them.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
attack and they squeeze.
yeah, they hug.
Yeah, a
It's
python.
a surprise attack.
Yeah, it was
python
measuring.
crushes. A python crushes, and then a boa constrictor, I guess, is the one that swallows it whole and
Oh yeah.
constricts as it goes on. I think.
Yeah.
But either way, they're not like they don't grow to the size of their food.
Well, I
No.
guess if you guys don't want to believe it, whatever. But this is something that happened in the Lund family, and I think it's honestly a little bit traumatic. But whatever. No. You guys do whatever you're doing.
Okay.
So wait, so Amanda's cousin did run out of the house
Ran out of the house.
and
and never went back.
To the fire department
I think right to the realty office and
to
said,
buy a new house with no snake.
yes,
Yeah. Smart.
yes.
Smart.
Just burned her house down with a snake in it. That's all you can do.
I'm glad
You guys are ignorant. You guys are ignorant.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Fair
Okay,
enough.
so there's the classic urban legend about the flashing headlights.
Yes.
You guys know this one?
Yeah.
So the legend of the gang members, they were to be initiated into the gang. They drive around without their headlights on, and then they wait for someone to flash their headlights. And when they do, they follow them and they murder whoever flashed the headlights first. It's like a game they play.
Yeah. And then you're in the gang.
Like a Grease type, something that they might do in Grease.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
just like Grease.
Grease
It's exactly
lightning.
like Grease.
Mhm.
So this rumor became popular in the 90s via fax and email. So apparently people are faxing urban legends.
Hey, what's
Like,
your
beware.
fax number? I want to send you a bunch of bullshit. I want to send you some flimsy bullshit on some flimsy paper.
So the origin,
I definitely want you to expend ink on this. Ink
yes,
toner.
it's important. Like the paper they have to rip off the sides. Yeah, it's $1,000 to send you this urban legend. So the origin, it may have begun in 1993 when this woman, Kelly Freed, was shot and killed in Stockton. She was riding in the passenger seat when a
Of her
driver
best friend's
signaled.
ride?
Yes.
Aww.
She was yelling at, there's some scrubs. And she was like, no, can't have a ride. But she signaled, or whoever's driving flashed a car, and they took the flashing lights as an insult, and they drove back and they shot
It is
her.
insulting. Oof.
It is. So that's
Well,
like,
yeah, a flash of the headlight is a very passive aggressive maneuver.
But I
Because
think
it's either going
friendly.
like-
I do it.
it's
Yes,
helpful.
It's helpful.
Like,
I
if
do
see
it
the
whenever
cops-
I'm mad and don't want to get into a confrontation. I tell whoever I'm mad at to come outside. I get in my car and I flash my headlights a couple times.
That's a
And
different
then-
interpretation. I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Then they know that I'm mad,
Well, I guess we know what to look out for.
If
In
you know
Maria's
there's a
driveway.
cop, like if there's a cop and they're giving out speeding tickets, don't you flash your lights at people coming the opposite way? Just to warn
Yes.
them?
That's a thing people, I used to do that back in the boonies in Michigan.
Yeah,
man.
I think it's a good Samaritan thing to do, to flash your lights.
I don't even know how to flash my lights, to be
You
honest.
pull the thing back. You pull the
Really?
thing back.
You need to
I
get your
don't think
license
so.
taken away.
Really? You'll have
Yeah.
to pry it from my cold, dead hands.
Right?
My
Stop
license.
flirting. Stop flirting with me again. You're in a
that's-
relationship.
That's unique to, I think, places like California where there's not a lot of fog.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
right.
hardly ever use your high beams.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Don't
use
you feel
use them
that-
on the back roads.
I feel like there's a potential for this urban legend to become true because of people that are like, it's my freedom to not have my lights on.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Ugh.
the same people that would have guns in their cars that would shoot you for insulting them, for trying to control them.
100%.
Oh.
That's my theory,
Uh-huh.
guys.
You're giving Maria ideas right now.
No, don't.
Nothing wrong with an idea.
Don't put on that roof rack, Maria.
So another car related urban legend is the person in the back seat,
Yes.
where the legend goes that a lady was at a gas station filling up her tank, and then she went to get back in her car when the station attendant called her into the store, and he says, "Oh, there's trouble with your payment. You need to come back inside." And once inside, he tells her, "Oh, a man snuck into the back seat of your car and she looks out and sees a man slipping out of the car.
I've
Oh.
never heard it that way. I've always heard it that it
Yeah.
was too late, that she sees him in the rearview mirror.
Well, this is the good ending of the urban legend.
Absolutely. This is just more like to warn people in a more believable way.
Yeah.
To make it less
But you
like a
know,
ghost
whenever
story.
when you get gas in your car, do you guys lock your doors?
Yeah.
I do
No,
too.
but I think I should.
I do because of this urban legend.
Well, have you seen the movie Urban Legends?
Oh yeah, like
This happens a different way.
how did
so-
it happen in the movie?
Okay, so the person's like, your payment didn't work. She goes into the gas station, and the gas station guy like scares her because he's like, there's someone in the back seat, and she's like, oh my God, you're crazy. So then she goes back into the car. She starts driving, and then there is someone in the back seat, and she
Yeah.
gets beheaded.
Mhm.
Why would her reaction be that's crazy?
Because
Because
gas station attendants are all crazy, Maria.
Was he a weirdo
That's-
in the movie?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a weirdo.
Yeah.
And he was like, there's someone in your back seat. She's like,
That's-
what, sir? And he was like, you better watch out. Like he wasn't.
You
he was
stole
saying it
my
like a secret
story.
window.
You stole my story.
You stole my
Your
story.
favorite impression.
You stole my story.
John
Is that
Turturro.
from a high window?
Secret window.
Secret
Remember that
Window.
Johnny Depp
Oh my
movie?
God! Yes, I think I only ever saw the trailer.
Maria does
You
a great
stole my
impression.
story.
You stole my
You
story.
stole my story. It's fun to say.
It is good. Yeah.
So this urban legend, it originated in the late 60s because it made it into an Ann Landers column in
Wow.
1962
Really?
or 1982.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, let me ask you about your gas buying habits, because even at night for me, I'm there at the pump putting my own gas in the car. Like I do it with a credit card, so I'm never leaving the car.
But well, I guess in Michigan, when it was freezing and snowing, you
Sure.
put the pump in, you can like put a little click up there so it holds it in and then you get back in your car.
Well, I do
You're
that
not
so I can wash
supposed to
my
go
windows.
you're not supposed to go back in the car while you're filling up.
Well, why don't you grow up in Kalamazoo and fill up your gas tank in negative?
No, it's crazy though. In
Melissa, you're
Oregon-
gonna have to go to Maria's driveway now.
Oh no, she's gonna flash her lights at me.
Click. In Oregon, you can't pump your own gas.
Oh right,
In
it's
Jersey,
illegal.
too, yeah.
Really? It's crazy. When I took a road trip up to Oregon, and as soon as you get to Oregon, you are not allowed to pump your own gas.
That's kind of nice, actually.
It's ridiculous, I think.
Do you tip the gas pumping man?
Yeah.
I wanted to
You
get
would
my
have to. I'd
screwdriver,
feel
too.
bad.
Wait, Paul, I've got a screwdriver too.
What? Maria.
What?
Paul, did you see my screwdriver and that's why you got yours, or
What
did you
is
just pick one
No,
up?
I just had
happening?
my screwdriver.
Is that true?
I pick up a screwdriver for every podcast I record. Yes.
No, Paul, did you see me picking up my screwdriver and then you went for yours?
Of course I did.
You dirty rat.
Why are you waving a screwdriver around?
Because I don't have any headlights.
Well, you fucking got me. But wait. So, do you all here in Los Angeles, do you all lock your cars when you get out to pump your gas?
I do, yes.
I do instinctively. I do.
I feel like because I'm a woman, maybe.
No, of course, but you don't leave the area of your car, do you?
No.
No. I usually get back into my car because I also heard about people who will steal like purses out of cars and like
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't lock it because of this urban legend. Like, I'm not afraid of someone getting in the back seat, but I do.
You will.
Okay, Alan,
That would
okay.
be scary though.
No
Mhm.
one's accusing you of anything. Jesus.
Yeah.
Get furious.
So this, it came from an Ann Landers column in 1982. But like the closest thing to like a real origin story was in 1964, a murder suspect hid in the back of the car, which ended up belonging to a police detective, and the man was shot by the detective.
That sounds
So-
fake too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, just my luck.
But there's also other iterations of this about when there's someone in the back seat and then the truck behind keeps flashing lights.
Yes, I've
Every
heard that
time the guy
one.
pops
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a combo.
Pops up.
So that combines
that's
the flashing
scary.
headlights
Hybrid.
and this. It's like two urban legends
That's-
in one.
Wait a minute. Why would the car in back know that the guy in the back seat wasn't supposed to be there?
Good point.
Good question,
Because
Maria.
Point.
he's like slowly lifting. He has like a knife. He's like slowly reaching up with the knife.
Well, why doesn't he do it? Why does he keep second guessing himself?
Because the
You know,
truck
I
keeps
don't know.
stopping him.
The truck is flashing the lights, and the woman keeps looking. Back.
The guy's measuring you.
Oh my god. So
Anyway.
then this one's crazy.
I hate this one.
I
so
haven't
much.
heard of this one.
You haven't?
No. The title is Dog Licking Kids Hands.
This is my
While in
favorite
Bed.
one. This is my
Oh,
favorite
no.
one.
Okay,
Yes, and
I
this
haven't
actually
heard.
happened to my best friend.
No,
This happened
it
to
Maria,
her.
Oh,
It
wait,
did.
I know this
Yeah.
one. This
Yes,
did
it
not
did.
know. Maria.
It did. My best friend Susan. Yes, it did in grade school.
Susan? Okay. What's
Susan's
last
parents.
name?
What Susan's last name?
Yeah.
Anthony.
La Jolla.
B.
No.
Anthony.
Susan La Jolla, and you can look her up
Anthony.
on Facebook or whatever.
La Jolla.
Susan La Jolla. I bet she knows Lydia de Alva
It was
Ladeo.
my friend Carmen San Diego.
You guys sound so ignorant right now because she's been in therapy for years because of this. Her parents went out of town for the night, and she was like, we
They
were
went out
like
of town
11
for
or
the night.
yes.
That's like
But
so
we lived,
80s.
we lived in the no,
Already
we lived-
fake.
Where did they go?
That's so 80s.
They had to go down to San Diego,
To
ironically.
see Carmen, to see their other daughter, Carmen.
So they had to go out of town for the night. And they said you need a babysitter, and we were like 11 or 12, and she was like, no, I'll be fine. We live in the Palisades, like it's totally safe. And they were like, you've got Rudolph the dog. It was this cute golden retriever Rudolph.
Rudolph.
And-
Good name.
Yeah, I know. He was so cute. So then, like, during the night, I guess Susan would get, like, kind of scared. And so she would she was, like, sitting in bed. And whenever she'd get scared, she'd go, Rudolph, give me a little lick on the hand to let her know that he was there protecting her, you know? And so she was doing that all throughout the night. And then at what point she went, Rudolph, give me a lick, and he licked it. And then she said, well, I got to go downstairs and get a glass of water. And so she walked downstairs to get a glass of water. Rudolph was dead. Turns out an escaped murderer was hiding out under her bed, licking her hand.
Wow.
That sounds real.
And she.
It was real.
And what happened?
Susan left after that. Susan left school after that.
So the murderer just he just stayed under the bed.
He didn't murder her.
Well, what does your urban legend say happened at the end? I'd love to know.
I'm so glad you asked.
Here's the official urban
I'll
legend.
just tell it
Well,
from
what
the
happened to
top.
this other person that this happened to?
Yeah. This common thing that happens all the time. So a girl is home sleeping in bed with her dog. She hears a dripping sound in the middle of the night and gets up to investigate. Finding nothing, she lays back down and her dog licks her hand as she falls back asleep. This happens again and again, and she finds nothing. Finally, she gets up and goes into the bathroom, where she is greeted by a horrific sight. Her beloved dog, with its throat slit, is hanging from the shower. Its
Okay,
blood,
yeah.
This is what happened.
That's Susan's story. Yeah, I left that part out. But yeah,
Okay.
that's
Its blood dripping from the ground. Horrified, she looks at the mirror, where written in her dog's blood are the words, "Humans can lick too."
What?
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
You
that's
forgot
bad.
that part, Maria? That very important detail of writing in blood on the mirror.
This
Yeah.
is
You
disgusting.
guys are really,
Right.
you know,
We're ignorant. I get it. This
I get
urban
it.
legend can be traced back to a diary entry from 1871 England, penned by a man named Derma Burchell. Burchell recalls hearing a tale at a party of a woman who roused her husband in the middle of the night, saying she
Roused.
felt like there was a robber under the bed and implored him to investigate. The man replied that it was just their dog. He had felt him lick his hand. The next morning, all the jewels had been
All the
stolen.
jewels were stolen.
This is insane. This story had spread far and wide and was featured in an episode of The L Word.
Oh,
That's end of the
I
tale.
heard
congrats, urban legend.
Yeah.
One
That's like the
variation.
Emmys for urban
Yeah, the Em-
legends.
one variation I heard was that it was an escaped mental patient from like a psychiatric hospital was just licking the hand. And you know that I don't sleep with my arms hanging off the bed or my limbs hanging off the bed because of this urban legend.
Wow. Wow.
Well, that's just
It
a gross
frightens
feeling
me.
in general.
Scary. I can't have my hand hanging out. I'm afraid that like something's gonna come from under my bed, even
What
though I don't
about-
have an underneath my bed. It's a
Melissa, what
solid
about
face.
do you ever stick your foot out to regulate your temperature at night?
Yes, but I don't hang it over the mattress. It has to stay
I see.
on the
okay.
bed.
All right.
Do you like
smart.
lift it up?
Yes.
Straight up in the air. Yeah.
Straight up in the air. Get the blood flowing back too.
The next one is the snake, but we already talked about snake measuring. So Melissa,
Debunked.
No, it's not debunked. And Amanda's gonna come on and tell you guys about
Can't
it.
wait. I can't wait.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Well,
we can
great.
loop that in. Melissa, should we go to the hook?
Ooh, the hook.
Classic.
Oh, Amanda's in the waiting room, Melissa.
Oh my God,
She
she's
is?
here.
Shit.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh
god.
we're
Okay.
having a rager.
I gotta go, you guys.
today.
Oh, ooh, nice background, Arios. Connecting to audio.
I can't see her square.
I
Her
can't.
rectangle.
It's there, but it says she's connecting to audio and there's no video. Amanda. What does she have? What kind of
This is
internet she
bad
got over there in
podcast.
Pasadena? She on dial up?
Amanda, can you hear us? If you can hear us, connect your audio.
Knock twice on the table.
Huh. Well. Okay. Well, we can wait for her.
We can
Yeah.
talk amongst ourselves. Well,
We'll
yeah.
talk about her. So the hook. So this.
Oh.
wow,
okay. Well.
Damn, bikini, Amanda.
Says you're not connected to the audio.
You're not connected
Can't
to
hear
the
you.
audio.
You're not
Can't hear
connected to
you.
the audio. Ugh,
Hello, hello, hello.
this is death.
Unamused Amanda.
Oh, connected.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey!
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that bikini.
I know.
Yeah.
Look out,
Sorry.
boys.
Sorry,
Amanda, they don't
Melissa.
believe. I've been trying to tell them about your cousin and this boa constrictor, and they're saying, "Oh, you're making fun. This is all a joke."
Have you told them the story?
Well,
Yes.
I told them, and they made fun of me.
We did.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't tell it, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let's hear it.
But Paul and Melissa, haven't you heard this before?
Yeah.
I have. It's like it's on Snopes.
Mm,
It's
well,
on
maybe
Snopes.
my cousin must have put it on Snopes.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not on Snopes.
this happened to your cousin. I think
Cousin?
it's really
My
disrespectful.
cousin Robbie had a boa constrictor. They were very close. They slept in the bed together, and they were very, very close. And the boa constrictor had like free reign over the house.
Sure.
And so it would sleep in the bed with Robbie. And then in the middle of the night, Robbie woke up and he looked, and the boa constrictor was just like straight like a board. So he thought he was dead. And so he called the vet, he called the emergency vet line, and the vet said, he told the vet the symptoms, and the vet said, get out now. And then Robbie goes, why? And the vet said, he's not dead. He's measuring you.
No.
Yes.
Who did your cousin told this to you?
Yeah,
When did
And
he
then-
tell this to you?
years
Like-
ago.
Have
Like,
you
were
ever
you
seen
both-
a picture of the snake?
Yeah.
How
You were
old,
sure
how
of the
old were
snake.
you? How old were you when he told you the story, and how old was he?
We were both 11.
Okay.
That's like when Susan had her, or my
Oh.
friend, my best friend Susan La Jolla in grade school. Remember when I told you that she was her parents went out of town, and then her
For the night.
dog was licking her hands. Remember? And then
Horrible.
Remember that?
And then
Was that
there's a-
horrible?
Yeah. But did you hear about the one about the
Oh, boy.
my friend who married a woman, but they were both religious, so they never slept in the same bed together, and she would always wear a choker?
You're so stupid.
Do you guys know I think it's
That's true.
my cousin's friend had this portrait of himself hanging in his house and it was like
You
the
guys are making
portrait got
fun.
older, but he never did.
Oh, that's a
Because they're
good
making
one.
fun. And what happened to Amanda's friend, religious friends, is actually really scary, because what happened was when they removed the ribbon, the woman's head fell off.
No, you're serious.
It rolls right off.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Was that on the news?
I don't know. It was in 1997, so you'll have to go through the archives. What's this episode on?
Urban legends.
Cousins are
Cousins.
stories are
Cousins.
cousins tell.
Cousins and their stories.
Oh, cousins. Can't live with them, can't live without them.
True.
So Robbie, did they get rid of the snake, or what did they do?
Well, he had to rehome it.
Right.
Well, so it went to someone
that
else's
was
home and it ate
yeah.
them.
I bet that was an awkward conversation.
Probably
Hey,
like
you
to go
look-
live on a
You
farm.
look pretty tall. Do you want a snake that's shorter than you?
You better hope it starts from the feet.
What's that mean?
Well, if it starts from the head, it doesn't matter how tall you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks, Amanda. I think this is
Okay.
good because it
Thanks,
gave
Amanda.
a little bit of
Yeah.
humanity to the story.
I agree.
That's good.
It did
Yeah.
put a face on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me
Thanks,
on.
Amanda.
Yeah. thank
Okay.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Well,
See?
the
Wow.
proof is in
See?
the pudding.
There we go.
There we go.
From
So-
one 11-year-old to another.
Yeah.
This story holds water all these years later.
So the hook is about these two people are making out in a car and on Lover's Lane, and they're listening to the radio doing some necking.
Oh yes.
And then the music was interrupted by this radio announcer he's like, well, there's an escaped convict in the area. Just be careful. He's got a hook for a hand, so watch out. And so the couple became frightened and they drove away. And when the boy took the girl home, he went around to open the car door and there was a hook on the door handle.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
but
Some people
didn't they
think
hear
it's
the
like
hook go into? I thought there was like a scratching noise.
oh, that's
That's-
in
I
one
feel like
iteration of
That's
it.
yeah, right? Is that also the hook? But then she goes out, she gets out of the car. He goes out to look to make sure everything's safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Then there's a scratching on the roof. And then she gets out of the car and she sees he's hanging from a tree over the car, and it's his feet scraping on the car.
Oh, right.
My God.
That's better than this one.
That's what happens in the movie Urban Legend.
Really?
And it
Oh.
happened to my old neighbor.
No, it didn't.
Axl Rose.
My old neighbor.
Allie's old neighbor, Axl Rose.
Axl
My old neighbor,
Rose.
Axl Rose. Which we have to do another episode on because we got a weird email. We'll talk about
We
it next
did.
week about some weird stuff about Axl Rose.
Yeah, we did. So some people think this hook story is just like a cautionary tale about teenage sexuality. Like if the girl hadn't said no to the boy, then they'd both be dead. So it's like, say no to the boy, otherwise you're gonna get killed with a man with a hook.
That's a good PSA.
It is a PSA.
Oh.
And then have you guys heard the Paul is dead
Yes.
rumor?
Yes.
Apparently Ringo Starr admitted that Paul McCartney died in a car crash in the 60s and he was replaced by a lookalike.
When did he admit that?
Admitted it.
He did not admit that.
He just
That's the
He let
legend.
it slip. He let it
He
slip.
did not
The
admit
conversation. Like, oh no, the one thing I'm not supposed to tell anyone.
that.
There was hidden messages in the albums. And if you look at the cover of Abbey Road, you'll see the 4 guys. Paul is not wearing shoes.
That's right.
And his right foot is forward instead of his left foot.
If memory serves, in that Abbey Road picture, they are trying to send the signal that Paul is dead because Paul is not wearing shoes. George is dressed in like working clothes, like the gravedigger. John is wearing white, like the preacher, and Ringo is wearing black, like the Undertaker. And then
there it is.
There's a license plate on a VW Bug that's in the picture. It's something like if 69 or something like it's like he would have been this age if it's fucking ridiculous.
Wow, that's a stretch.
But this is the kind of stuff that I like about conspiracy theories is when people are finding these things that will support their story, but it's all based on nothing, but it's fun.
Yes.
You know, like I really enjoy however, I will say, did you guys see Room, what is it? Fucking the one about The Shining.
Room.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Room
horrible that they were
237
down in
Room
that room.
232 or 230,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. I thought that movie was just about the moon landing conspiracy and how The Shining was exposing that, you know, Kubrick directed the moon landing and, you know, all this. But then what I did not realize was that it was just an uninterrupted string of conspiracy theories given in voiceover.
Yeah.
And I lasted
I've never
about
seen it.
Oh, well, I mean, good luck to you. I lasted a
I
half
tapped
hour.
out too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
tapped out.
I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Take it because it was just
Wow.
one theory is kind of fun to explore, but just a million billion theories is just too much. It was overwhelming for me.
Yeah, I agree.
1 theory's nice, 2 theories cool, 3 theories is a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. But apparently
Any
there's
more
a
than a
clip at the
mouthful is a
end
waste.
at the end of Strawberry Fields where John says cranberry sauce.
Right.
He's apparently saying I'm very bored, but people think he's saying I buried Paul.
Oh.
Why would they bury Paul with no shoes though?
Why would you say I'm very bored on a recording?
Yeah.
Maria says it all the time
Dude.
on these recordings.
I don't have to say it. You just hear me typing. You just
I
hear
do
me
see it.
typing and looking at the internet.
You're on Wikipedia. And then there's the Pop Rocks and Soda killed little Mikey.
Yes.
So this one, people don't really know where it originated, but most likely just somewhere from the Midwest in like the late 70s. And the sales, what's even crazier is that the sales of Pop Rocks like went down. They had to take out ads saying that they did
Okay,
not,
really?
that they
What?
weren't dangerous.
Oh my God.
And they tried to get Mikey to be in a commercial for Pop Rocks, but he had a contract with Life Cereal. And his parents were like, we don't want to get him in the middle of all this.
Wait, so the conspiracy was that Mikey from Life Cereal?
Yes. The
Died,
Mikey
but then-
likes it.
Yeah, but then Mikey
He died from eating Pop Rocks and soda.
Okay.
But so this Pop Rocks company, they went bankrupt in 1982 and they lost millions of dollars. They had to bury like 300 million pouches of Pop Rocks. They buried it in a landfill
Why'd they bury it?
because they didn't know what to do. No one was buying it. They had warehouses full of this stuff.
And they're wrapped in
What if
plastic,
you
I
poured
mean,
soda
yeah.
on the landfill? Like,
That's what I was
would
gonna
it
say. Volcano. It was like Mount Vesuvius.
Because Mythbusters did
Yeah.
an episode on this, I think, where they tested out eating Pop Rocks and drinking soda and like nothing happened.
I did it.
You've done it?
Years later. Yes, years later.
you
when I
lived-
like remembered because they brought Pop Rocks back. Pop Rocks.
Yeah,
came
they
back.
did. They
Yeah.
did.
And I remember trying it with friends, and there was like, we were in our 20s, and there was like a moment of,
You could
is
die.
something gonna happen?
It's like Russian roulette.
What I love about this one is that it's not enough to just say, if you mix Pop Rocks and soda, you will die. They also, for some reason, attached Mikey from Life Cereal.
Poor
You know
guy.
what's a great
They
movie
could've
is
picked
Life
anybody.
with Mikey. Have you guys seen Life with Mikey with Michael J. Fox?
No.
No.
You guys, it's such a good movie. He plays like a Mikey type character who's now like an agent, but he
Oh
used to
wait,
be a
and there's
child
the little girl,
actor.
Curly Sue.
Yeah. No, but it's another little precocious girl.
Yeah.
Played by Curly Sue?
And
The girl from Waterworld.
no, that she was in
Oh,
Andre.
do you
This
mean
is another
Helen?
girl. Who's Helen?
She had a
Who's
pet snake
Helen?
that started to
Wasn't that
measure
the name
her.
of the little girl in Waterworld, or was
Oh,
that
yeah.
was that what's her name, Jean Triplehorn's character? Somebody was named Helen, and it made me laugh for some reason.
Baby named Helen.
No, it's a great
Okay.
movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you should
I'll
you
check it
should
out.
check it out. The tagline is "He's a talent agent, she's a thief." Looks like they've already got something in common.
I have seen that movie. I remember it.
Oh.
I have seen that movie.
It's a great
It's-
tagline for like the Midwest. I bet they thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. Okay, this one I've heard of. Razor blades and Halloween candy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Kids getting razor blades or needles and candy. This was big in the 70s and 80s.
Mhm.
The origin, cute. The origin in 1959. This is smart.
59. Wow.
Yeah. A California dentist, William Shine, gave, oh my God, candy-coated laxative pills to trick-or-treaters. He was charged with outrage of public decency and unlawful dispensing of drugs.
Yeah. Outrage of public
decency.
So that's maybe where that originated.
Why did he do that? Because he wanted kids to have a bad association with candy?
I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Like
yep.
vigilante dentistry.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's kind of a genius idea.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Wild.
But
It's,
also,
when a
another thing that
doc-
happened, the Tylenol murders happened right before Halloween in the 80s.
What are the Tylenol murders?
What are the Tylenol murders?
I don't
What-
know what the Tylenol murders.
Oh, this is horrible. This is
Oh.
a truly horrible thing.
We should
What are
probably
the
do
Tylenol?
a whole Web Crawlers episode about this. You remember
Yeah,
when
you
people
should.
in the 80s started dying in Chicago because someone put cyanide in Tylenol pills and put it back on the shelf?
What are you?
It's a whole,
serious?
it's a crazy story. It's like a whole.
That was like the beginning of child safety caps.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, we should definitely. How did I not know about? Well, I mean, there's a lot I don't know about. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they're thinking like that doctor or the dentist, and then this kind of like drummed it up again because people are like, oh, people can tamper with like,
Yeah.
packaged
Holy
stuff.
shit.
Oh, those are nice backgrounds. The
It's-
coronavirus and the Michael J. Fox.
When a doctor does a weird thing like that, it's the scariest thing in the world.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
It's so terrifying. Like
Doctor's gone rogue.
Doctor's gone rogue is so
Mhm.
scary to me.
That's
Oh.
why
First do no harm. First do no harm.
Hippocratic Oath.
Come
That's
on.
In Little Shop of Horrors, that's why Steve Martin scared me so much.
Oh. Yeah,
like one of my first
crazy
nightmares.
doctors in
Crazy
movies are
dentists.
oh, they're so creepy.
Because there's something so sociopathic about wanting to like be a surgeon, and like if you have like one chromosome, like it's crazy. You can
Like
really,
Dr. Death,
yes,
that podcast.
yeah.
Dr. Death, the guy the fertility doctor that inseminated all those women with his own.
Oh, yeah.
So gross.
It's crazy.
Doctor, you can't trust doctors.
Cannot trust doctors.
Trust doctors.
Okay, so this is a weird one. Melissa, I have never heard of this. Melissa wrote in this doc, sometimes I just like to differentiate what I write and what Melissa wrote. Melissa wrote, Snapple was once owned by the KKK and then Osama bin Laden.
And then also,
In 1992, one
the
rumor
Klan sold Snapple to Osama bin Laden.
Famous famously. Didn't that nice lady do all the Snapple commercials too
Oh,
in
the
the 90s?
Snapple lady.
One rumor suggests a small letter K on Snapple labels stands for the KKK. But the symbol means that Snapple, like Coca-Cola and thousands of other products, meets kosher dietary standards.
Yeah,
We
there
are
was a
going
K
to get
on it.
emails for that one that we are saying kosher somehow has to do with the KKK. Melissa wrote that. Direct
That's
any
what people
emails on
think.
that one
It's
to
on.
Melissa.
It's on the internet.
It's on
I've
the
never
internet.
heard that one.
I've never heard it either. It was
I haven't either.
just a random one.
Melissa started it. Then this one is needles in coin return slots of payphones. I have heard of that.
You
I
heard
feel
that
like
one,
I've
right?
heard of that one. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a nice
Yeah.
one. That
Well,
actually
that
scared me.
happened after AIDS became a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because people were like, oh, drug users are depositing their dirty needles into payphones or like drink machines. So you put your
has
finger in
the
there.
time?
They just
Well,
want to
there
get
is-
high. That's all. They're not thinking like, and I'm also going to do a lethal
Yeah.
prank.
Yeah.
But there was I remember the needle in the Coke can. Remember that one?
No.
No.
The needle in there was like, don't drink Coke for a little bit because there was a needle Coke
Oh.
can.
A needle
Hold
Coke.
on. Let's see.
Like it was sealed,
Um,
like you opened it and there was a needle in it, or like someone just took a drink of a Coke
Let me
that had
see.
needles in it. You ever taken a drink of like an old LaCroix that you're like, oh, this is from like 3 days ago?
1993 reports of needles in soda cans climb. Reports of cans of Pepsi Cola products containing syringes and hypodermic needles continue to be reported yesterday.
What?
This I'm on
Oh.
Snopes right now.
Uh-oh.
Now they are saying it's false. In the origins are in 1990, a clerk for a Steinberg grocery store in Eastern Ontario discovered something in a Pepsi bottle he at first mistook for a straw. At closer examination revealed it was a syringe, and the bottle was rescued from the shelf before it fell into the hands of the consumer. Okay, so then that went into the 1993 Pepsi syringe panic. So this was a whole thing.
Wow.
But wait, Snopes said this did not happen?
That didn't stop Maria from
It sounds like
continuing.
it did
I feel
happen.
like that was in there somewhere.
Yeah, she just glazed over it.
Well, I don't want to read the whole thing. I just want you to come to your own conclusion. Though most finds involved syringes, the list of items allegedly recovered from Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and caffeine-free Diet Pepsi cans included a wood screw, a bullet, a crack vial, a broken sewing machine, and a mysterious blob of
A
brown
broken
goo.
sewing
sewing
machine in a
machine.
can of Coke, Maria?
A showing machine needle.
Oh.
Pepsi and the Food Drug
That's what I
Administration
heard too,
soon
Allie.
Broken
Half a car.
Wow.
They're
Sewing
saying
machine
it
for
was a
Giant
ants.
hoax.
boa constrictor.
They're saying it was a giant hoax. Once the first find was publicized, a number of unscrupulous people who sought to cash in on it created a rolling wave of growing hysteria. So they're saying all of these finds were phony.
This is like the finger in the chili, in the Wendy's chili.
Oh,
That's right.
Yes.
We
That whole
talked
thing.
about that on
We
what
did.
on a
know.
fast food
Fast
episode.
food
The
episode,
weed
yeah.
of crime bears bitter fruit.
Oh my
Yep.
God, you actually do listen.
Yes. Who would say they listened if they didn't? They're just open yourself up to
A
being
lot of
caught
people.
out so many
Mm.
times.
I don't know.
A lot of people.
Do a lot of people tell you that they listen and they don't listen?
I mean, I would imagine.
I don't know.
I
No
Who
one
knows?
tells
Donna-
no one tells us that they listen.
That is true. We've never heard that before.
And
Melissa,
then
what
there's
is this crying baby thing?
the most recent urban legend that I have heard that I actually saw this like on Instagram lately is the crying baby outside of your window.
This is
What?
scary. You take note, you
Yeah.
guys, because this is real.
Well, this
Oh, I think I do know this.
so if you hear a
Paul?
crying baby outside your window, don't go and look.
Wait, I have heard this.
Because
Yes.
it could be like a
Paul.
serial killer.
Yes, and somebody has a fucking recording of a crying
Yes,
baby
yes.
and they put it in. This is no one's doing this.
Yes, they are.
There
That's
was
how
an
they're
it
getting
happened
into their
in
houses.
in Pennsylvania, there was
This
like
is
an
what,
article about it.
Moms circulate this in email chains,
Right.
and they're like, "Tell your daughters because this is happening, and they need to stay safe."
Someone posted this on Instagram like recently that I follow that like I some kind of respect, and I was like, "What?"
Wait, did they post it as text? Was it one of those?
Yes.
Oh, I love when people do that. Whenever you can discount that immediately when you see
Yeah.
people, somebody posting text of any kind.
But there was a
I'm
news
reading
story.
This Pittsburgh. Yeah, this
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh.
story.
Okay, tell it. What is it?
2020.
2020. This year.
What?
People
It-
reported, like college kids, they said they reported to the police that they could hear crying babies outside of their windows. It was like on multiple different occasions.
And then the 911 said, stay inside. And then two college sorority sisters who lived on the south side say they feel safe living there, but not anymore. One college girl says, we've been staying together and not letting anyone be alone. This week, they say they heard what seemed like recordings of babies crying and someone shouting for help right outside their door.
Oh.
So for the listeners who don't know how this story ends, what happens when you hear the baby?
You open the door. It's because there's a little bassinet there or whatever with a blanket over it. And you go to look for the baby. when you peel back like the
Peel it
cloth or the
back.
blanket, you see it's just a moving tape recorder.
Okay.
And then you hear the crying, and then as soon as you look up, a man grabs you by the neck and brings you into the house and murders you.
All right.
I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
That's good
smart.
screenwriting.
Yeah.
So wait, and so is there any actual case of this having happened?
Pittsburgh 2020.
Well, people
but
heard
no.
it.
People heard it. Nobody got murdered.
I don't believe
Thank
so.
God, Paul. You sick son of a bitch. God.
No, I don't think so.
So it could be that this was a prank, and then somebody filled in the blanks.
Yes.
Yeah. It could be.
I feel like these are all
Do you think
pranks.
that's possible?
They could be. So, do you where you grew up, Paul? Were there any urban legends that like we didn't talk about today?
You know, I was trying to think about that because I feel like they're so pervasive, and I knew a lot of the same ones that you all knew. You know.
Yeah.
Our local cryptid was the Jersey Devil.
Oh,
we love the
right.
Jersey Devil.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember. I was trying to think, was there anything exclusive to? Okay. There was a newscaster in Philadelphia who there was a rumor started about him that it was just the Richard Gere gerbil rumor, but then they just also which we also had, like everyone knew that story.
Yeah.
But then they also just put it on this guy.
Oh,
whatever
no.
Oh God.
And it was everyone had heard this. And I was
No.
in high school, in my
no.
senior year of high school, I took part in a journalism program called News Studies, where we went to the local, the NBC affiliate, and we took the journalism class, and we had to like write and report our own story, you know, and it was a really cool thing that I got to do. But at one point early on, you know, the instructor, who was this, I can't remember her name now, but she was a radio reporter. She was really cool. And somebody, you know, we were talking and, you know, she was just taking kind of general questions. I feel like it was early on in the class. And somebody asked, like, is it true about that guy and the gerbil? I can't, to this day, like, the balls on that kid to ask that question.
Oh my God.
And she knew about it too. She was like, look, no one did this. This guy didn't do it. Richard Gere didn't do it. No one has done this. And so the guy left, eventually left the NBC affiliate. And when I moved out to LA in the mid 90s, I think around 2000, something like that, he ended up on like E or something. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from my local news. They had that.
Oh,
that
wow.
Was it Ryan Seacrest?
It was not Ryan Seacrest. Not Ryan, because I don't think this guy's with. I don't know where this guy is now. He might still work for you. I don't know. But somebody out here who was not from Philadelphia attributed that rumor to him out here.
Oh my
I
God.
can't believe this fucking followed him.
Wow.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
it was wild. It was wild. But yeah, it's as far as I know, it's not true. But you know what? Maybe that's now I'm thinking.
You know, there's some truth to everything.
if it followed
That's
him
what
across
Justin
the
Timberlake
country,
says.
It isn't.
is that a?
He
Is that a
says
what does he say?
Mhm.
Huh?
there's truth to every joke. That's what Timberlake says.
Oh.
That's real deep, JT.
Just like Jennifer Aniston says, if you don't eat protein right after you work out, then you might as well have not even worked out.
Oh.
These are just little things I take with me
Yeah.
throughout my life. I pick them up.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Thank you for that.
okay.
Anyway.
Anyway. Okay, well.
What else is going on, guys?
Yeah, what's going on? I think that's all. Oh, Slender Man.
Oh, good old Slender Man. Do we have time for Slender
Yeah, I feel like
I mean,
Slender Man.
We all know
We-
Slender Man.
Good and done. Sad story. Kids need to stay off the internet.
Stay off the internet, kids. All right, well,
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's all we have. Yeah, dude.
yeah, that's all we got for today.
Yeah. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. We're so
Yeah.
appreciative.
Thank you for having me. This was a ball. I had such a good time.
Good. It's good to hear.
Was that the wrong thing to say?
No, it was good. It was just earnest.
It is. No one's
It's
ever
very
said
nice.
something so nice to me ever in my life. I don't know how to react.
Startled. We'll save you from having to hear our outro, but have a good rest of the day, and thank you. It was so nice to finally meet you.
Wait, why can't I hear the outro?
You don't want to hear it,
Come
Paul.
What? Fair enough. Ali, it was nice to meet you too.
It was so nice to meet you.
This really was a ball. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Of
Bye,
course.
Paul.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
Paul.
There he goes.
Wow. There he goes.
Awesome.
What a fun guy.
Yeah.
He's not a mushroom.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Love that.
Do you want to
one.
hear Craig's Ascension Woman story?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get Craig
Hey,
on.
hey, Craig.
Did you call her Ascension Woman or Resurrection Woman?
I think it was both.
Resurrection Mary.
Whoa. Kitty, what are you doing? Kitty.
Ugh, my cat's inside the couch.
An earpiece. I go on here. My nose. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah. Good. Everyone looks great today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Tell us your story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, which one is it?
The Ascension story.
Resurrection Mary.
Well, that's a little tight. Everyone knows the Resurrection Mary because it's you guys know that story. It's been told. It's kind of like a lore at this point. Resurrection Cemetery in Chicago. There was always reports of a woman walking around inside the cemetery, like late at night. People would call this. You've heard this, right, Melissa? Yeah.
I've heard, yeah. Cemetery.
Yeah, there's like a
woman.
million variations, and then the dudes driving by the cemetery, they pick up a hitchhiking woman. She gives an address where to go to. Guy goes to the house. Right when he pulls up in front of the house, the woman vaporizes. He goes to the door, knocks on the door. The woman's mother answers the door and says, "That was my daughter. She died 10 years ago."
Whoa.
You guys haven't heard any variation of this?
I've heard some variation of
I
that.
have heard a
Okay.
variation.
Well, yeah, it all stems from Resurrection Cemetery. You know, there's a crazy, if we could jump to my hometown of Chicago here.
Let's
Yeah.
jump.
Okay, well, it earned the reputation, and I don't know if I coined the reputation name,
Wow.
but it's the Triangle of Death.
Oh fuck.
Chicago to Milwaukee to Rockford has had more serial killers, mass murderers, and mass deaths than anywhere else.
Are
Oh
you
my
serious?
God.
True. Yeah. Well, obviously, there's. You guys know the story of Richard Speck, mass murderer.
Yes.
You know that one, really, Richard Speck. Well,
I know
he went into. Some people don't anymore. He went into a nurse's dormitory, and trapped women in one room, and then brought them to the next room and raped them and murdered them one at a time.
Yeah,
The
that's
young-
a
he-
crazy story.
Yeah, he killed seven women, I think. Anyway, and then in the late 70s, it was obviously John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was Dahmer, obviously. Another thing, though, you know the story of the Great Chicago Fire.
Yes.
Whole city burned down. The only building that didn't burn down was the water tower in Chicago. It's like this
Oh.
old Gothic looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the deal. The water tower is on the north, considered like the Gold Coast, the wealthier part of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
That is on property that was owned by one of the founders of the Church of Satan in America. Not only that, hold on a second. On that same property is where Hugh Hefner started the Playboy empire.
Oh.
So that you could say, okay, well, that's, that could fall under the whole Satan thing, right? It was like the rise of
weird.
pornography. Not only that, that's
Uh-oh.
also where the John Hancock building is. The John Hancock building
Right.
is probably like the third or fourth tallest building in Chicago at this point. It's the building where Chris Farley was found dead in. It's the building.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's the building where, the little girl from Poltergeist, that
Yeah.
she was filming Poltergeist 2, and it took place in that building, and she died of like some weird, like colon disease. She was like 10 years old or something.
Right.
And
Uh-oh.
sorry if I'm railroading you guys.
No,
More people were killed building the John Hancock Center than any other building in America.
Oh, I've heard that.
Holy shit.
Lastly, every couple years, like a pane of glass falls from the building and slices somebody in half who's walking by on the street.
Wait, like
Yeah,
Final
this happened.
Destination style?
Sorry.
Yeah, a woman just, if you look up, like, if you Google like John Hancock glass death, there was like a woman, I think like maybe 5 years ago, just walking
Oh
by.
my
And
God.
yeah, I mean, that's happened a few times, like way more than it should, right?
Wow.
What else?
That building's
So anyway,
cursed.
that's all on that lot of land where the water tower is that didn't burn down the Chicago fire. Church of Satan, Playboy, that building, like it's this crazy, and just about maybe 15 minutes from there is where John Wayne Gacy did all, not that that's related, but
right.
Holy
okay, that's
shit.
not really an urban legend.
No,
Oh,
but I mean,
Kind
it's
of is.
good.
two other mass deaths though that no one talks about. The Iroquois Theater fire. Do you know about this?
Oh,
Wait, why did we just talk about the era?
Yeah, Maria said you guys.
we just
Well, I was saying it earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's why it sounded familiar.
Well, basically,
It's like,
it was a. Sorry if I'm talking over you. There's a little bit of a delay. There
No.
was a play going on, and it was packed to the gills, and the doors were locked, and a fire broke out. It was like 430 people died. Like, it was one of the biggest mass deaths in American history. Nobody talks. It might even be more than that. And the
Wow.
stories are horrific. Then there's another story about this boat it was like a decommissioned military boat. They were holding parties on it, docked on the Chicago River. And I think it was like in like 15 or something. It was, it's a dance party, whatever. Everybody goes on the boat. All these people were on the boat. It was something like 700 people, and the boat capsized in the river while docked. It just tipped over, and nobody could get out.
Oh my God.
That's the second largest to the Titanic when it comes to people dying in a boat. No one knows about this. Also crazy, about 4 years ago.
Yes, King, go off.
So 4 years ago, somebody's going through the Chicago archives in the library. They find like 20 minutes of film footage of that boat tipped over. And like people are just on top, like, what do we do? Like they couldn't get anyone out. Like everyone was just drowning.
God.
Imagine drowning while you're docked.
Oh,
like
God.
they just couldn't get out. It's the most horrifying thing. Now, another crazy thing about that too, George Halas. Do you know who George Halas is?
No.
All right. Well, he founded the NFL, National Football League, and the Chicago Bears. He was, I believe, like 20 at the time, and he was supposed to be at that party, and he was like 5 minutes late, and he arrived, and it had already flipped.
Holy shit.
Would football have even happened?
Wow.
If he had been whatever. That's not really my legend though.
No, these are all great. Those are all good.
All right, well, the urban legend, this is the one, this is the only paranormal experience I've had that I cannot explain.
Oh.
The cemetery called White Cemetery in Barrington, Illinois, which is a very healthy suburb. I think the Walgreens fortune is there. Brock's Candy, like it's like old Chicago money, you know. My default microphone has changed. I think these were dead. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Okay, we can now you on the laptop.
Yeah.
All right.
I just charged
All right. Well, so anyway, the cemetery, White Cemetery, is established in 1820. It's you drive into Barrington, and they're like beautiful, like horse property houses, like big houses, but with, 50 acres, 100-acre lots. And you're driving, the road's called Cuba Road. You could look this up. You drive and you're just amongst all these like just, fields. And then there's this little tiny cemetery. And there's been reports for at least 50, 60 years of like, white orbs, whatever. So it's kind of the place to go when, I grew up in the area, not in the Barrington area, but about a half an hour away. Anyway, my friends and I go one night. It's like, hey man, let's go to White, that kind of thing. It was in high school. So we drive out there, and I'm in the backseat with my friend Chris, and we pull into the cemetery, like, they have gates that they still open and close. The gates close, we pull in there, and I look to the left, and behind all these trees, there's like an old, like 1800s house, and every window is glowing like orangish red. Swear to God, on both of my dead parents. Swear to God. I look over at it and I go, holy shit. I go, look, and we look back and it was gone. This has been in my mind. Yeah, hold on. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. We were probably drinking. Back then we drank and drove and crazy, stupid stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I wanted to see something because, this and all that. And then probably about, I don't know, like a year ago, it just pops into my head. I look it up online. There's 3 things people talk about. A black car, like an older car, pulls up in front of the cemetery and then will just disappear. The white orbs floating over headstones in the cemetery. And a disappearing house that allegedly was burned to the ground.
Whoa.
This happened to me in like 1988. And it's not something I had in my mind. The internet wasn't really around. I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
And then I just bought this like Legends and Hauntings of Illinois book. And that's one of the things that other people have said.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. Look up the cemetery. I mean, it's really cool. There's also there's
Oh
a
my
railroad
God.
track nearby, and in a lot of those
Wow.
rural areas, they don't have, gates. You're just
Right.
expected to pull up and look. And people will hear a train, they'll pull up and they'll see a light, and then it never comes, but they'll hear the train. And then once they look away and look back, the train, the light from the train, it never comes. That's another one of the, anyway, that's White Cemetery in Barrington, Illinois on Cuba Road, established
Wow.
1820. So we're at the 200-year anniversary this year.
Ooh.
We should go there and see if we see it.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, pick up a book about Chicago hauntings and ghost stories. I mean, just the fact
Ooh.
that the Iroquois Theater fire had like 500 deaths, and then like within 3 years later, 700 people drowned about 900 feet from the theater.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
That's like 9/11 shit. You're like just right in that
Yeah.
area. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, there's just a ton of, and all the mobsters up there, and this place is haunted because of the St. Valentine's Day massacre and all the, all the organized crime. And not to mention, another thing I forgot to mention though was H.H. Holmes, the Devil in the White City,
Yes.
Yeah.
where he used the Chicago World's Fair in order to, the Hotel of Horrors, right? You know that
Yep.
story?
Yeah, we were going to do an episode on
Yes.
him.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you gotta do, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they're doing that movie. I think Scorsese optioned
Oh,
that
really?
book,
Oh.
the Devil
They
in the
were-
White City.
They
Yeah.
portrayed him on American Horror Story too, or a character based off
Oh,
him.
okay. I mean, how
Oh.
diabolical is that?
Yeah, he's crazy.
That's
Like
crazy.
setting up, like piping gas into rooms.
Insane.
This is in the 1800s, man.
Yeah, he's
Like,
crazy.
like with like a little slot so he could watch the like collapsible floor, like crazy.
He's insane.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that whole story. Anyway, yeah. All right. Is that enough?
All right. Yeah, that was great.
Thank you, as usual,
Thank
Greg. Thank
you.
you, Craig.
As
All right,
usual.
just dropping in. All right, bye, ladies.
Bye. Just a wealth of knowledge.
Really is.
What?
He's just a wealth of knowledge. Knows so many
know.
facts about everything.
I know. You can just keep in like the urban
No, I think we
urban
should keep
legends and stuff,
everything.
and
I
then
think
we-
it's good.
Well, we could also do full episodes on those other things, or mini episodes on like the
Yeah.
Iroquois theater and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
That
guys,
house thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
what a roller coaster, folks. If you have urban legends, first of all, huge for the podcast that we got Mr. P.F. Tompkins on today.
Huge.
And if you guys have your own urban legends that you would like to send in, Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter and Instagram or Reddit or Facebook.
Great. Well,
Great.
I hope you guys enjoyed what we laid out for you today. I am Allison Jordan Siegel.
I am Melissa Ann Stetton.
And I'm Maria Jordan Stetton.
Huh?
See what I did?
What?
What?
Bye.
Bye.